Let's talk a little bit the argument that is there, the back and forth between Tchiroma and the minister, the colonial minister of territorial administration, the the ability for Issa Tchiroma to win the election in neighboring French Cameroon today, like by Mbeseha says, if a good neighbor want to look at what is happening. The truth is, Ambazonia is not officially participating. There is no doubt that enablers will do everything for their self-interest, try as much as possible to do some semblance of elections, especially in some urban areas like Fako or Victoria. We understand that even with military aid, they will do that. But we're going to get into all of that. Let's look at the situation in the ground in La République du Cameroon. From what Commander Evis is saying, there is some anticipation of violence or conflict between the warring parties, the Yaoundé Bulu government that is unwilling to leave power, and in the Nordists are thinking this is their great opportunity. Will they be as cowards as the Burmese? What are your anticipations? We're talking speculatively. I begin with you, Barrister Fo.
Yes, Paddy. Let the world know that La République du Cameroon appointed an ex-convict as their Minister of Interior to carry out dirty jobs like the one that is going on today. You will not imagine, Paddy, that Atanganji Paul has been dishing out tautology, threats, laws that he does not even understand. Because let's be clear, it's a Form 3 dropout student of St. Bede's Ashinkom. He doesn't know anything about the law, and yet he has been threatening the electorate, threatening the opposition party, and insinuating that there is already a winner because the opposition is incapable of being everywhere in La République du Cameroon. Paddy, as I open my this show today, as I logged in today, I saw you with a small writing, CNN prediction. Tchiroma, the winner, the next president of Cameroon. CNN prediction, projection. Now, there is every indication that Tchiroma, the momentum that he has galvanized the electorate on the ground, the massive crowds from the north to the south to the east and everywhere in La République du Cameroon indicates that he is the front runner of this election. La République du Cameroon has already prepared to announce victory for Paul Biya. They control the electoral processes. They control the Constitutional Council, and even the Supreme Court they control. And they have put a fraud mechanism that they want to project. They are even saying Biya is the winner, Bello is the second, Cabral Libe is the third, and Tchiroma the fourth. Look, just reverse that. You know what I'm talking about. Tchiroma is the front runner of this election. And I want to tell you that the election of this year is a referendum on the catastrophic 43 years that this old man has put this nation, our neighbor, through. And anybody who thinks that there will be a repeat of 92, let him think again, because this man from the north has been preparing for this for a very long time. He might have just resigned from the BI government a few months ago, but he has been preparing for this for a very long time. And the strategy that he put together has worked. He works very, very closely with what they call the Douala group. I have been observing them very, very closely. I know Jakam Chamini personally. I know Ekane Aneset personally. I know Sam Becker personally. I know even the man of APC, the parliamentarian from the SDF, the renegade SDF parliamentarian. And let me tell you, it's a very high risk election. If you hear that civil war has started in La République of Cameroon, know that the CPDM has declared itself winner, even though they have not won the election. And the way this election is being run, by 10 o'clock p.m. tonight, La République time, the winner will be known. And let Atanganji, the Constitutional Council, and the Electoral Council be working for 2 weeks to produce election when the results will all be announced to the world. It's not a proclamation, but the results will be released to the world so that the world is put on notice who has won this election, because of the security gadgets that the opposition, that is Tchiroma, has put. Tchiroma and his coalition, the coalition of the people, has put together with young people, with telephones all over the place, with IT specialists all over the place, to track everything and to produce the results in real time. If that happens, and La République comes after and proclaims Biya the winner, I'm predicting chaos. I'm predicting a fight. Let's be clear here. Tchiroma is not the friendly of 92. Tchiroma is a man who has suffered under this regime. He spent 6 years detained by this regime for participating in a coup which he knew nothing about. He was finally released after six plus years. Tchiroma has been working, preparing. He has been in the opposition and out of the opposition into government, and momentarily out of government into the position and back into government. He has been studying and preparing for this time. And let nobody think that La République will ever be the same. I have been watching, I have listened to the debates, I have been watching very carefully, so that we in the southern Cameroon and Bazonia must know who our enemies are and who the next door person is. So I have made sure that I go through all what is happening, and I can tell you, Paddy, without missing words, that if the CPDM does what they did in 92, this election, Cameroon is done. The chaos that will ensure.
Talking about the playbook that we already know. Cameroon uses
Yes.
the media. They are expertise in corrupting the media.
Yes.
They've created a machinery called ELECAM, that is an election rigging machinery. When they
Machinery.
realized electoral
Correct.
was not sufficient, they had to back it with an electoral council, constitutional council. In fact, this octogenarian, this man creates institutions at any given time that favors him. That's part of the conversation. We are getting to that. Barrister Mbeseha, Barrister Fru is leading us to a direction which I would like to argue that the people of La République du Cameroon do not have what we call Mbamenda. They don't get liver. They are not, they can't do it. Even some of them, some of the enablers are saying that the people of Bamenda, the people of the southern Cameroons will not die this time again for them. In fact, let's talk about it. The 1992 election was not a win for Frundi, but was a great achievement for that country because after 1992, the country has never been the same again. The resilience of the people of the Saudi Cameroons, particularly in Bamenda, changed the trajectory in the Cameroons. Constitutions were modified, institutions were modified. That was when Cameroon started scheming and projecting regionalization that has never been actualized. So there was some achievement. If you're studying history, you realize there was some achievement. Fast forward to 2018, when the Burmese thought that they had an opportunity, we come to, but the Bamileke business people in Douala and all around will not allow their businesses suffer. So these are people who are not willing to pay the price for freedom. Do you think at this given time, now that the people of Southern Cameroons have largely boycotted this election, that French Cameroonians that are so enslaved with 33 Export and all we know will be ready to stand for Issa Tchiroma at this given moment? We know what Atanganji, the colonial administration is as knows that they cannot win a free and fair election. So they start using hiding behind a Tanganji to intimidate. Intimidation is a proof of fear. But do you think that after today, the crowd that has come out to rally behind this man out of nowhere, can this same crowd be bold enough, bare hands, like the people of Amazonia, confront Bia's personal army that he has created to submit anyone? Barrister Mbeseha.
Well, you're asking me an impossible question, but this is my point about it. You see, it's better for Ambazonians to understand where we are and why we're doing what. I don't know what will happen after today in the Republic of Cameroon. I don't actually know. Something might happen there, positive or negative. Chirima might win, he might not win. But that is not our problem. Their laws are bad. That is not our problem. Our problem is that if they had put even the best laws there for the elections, Ambazonians will still say no, we are not part of it. That's the bottom line. We're not boycotting because their laws are bad. And this is the reason why we say no to it. To me, and I've said this many times before, election fraud, not even fraud, election manipulation, dictatorship is in their DNA. That's just the bottom line. They have never known what they call elections. And again, I've said, in 1960, they got independence without elections. Nobody, who can read how they got a Hijo there, who can read how they throw out Andre Marimbida, who can read how they throw out Charles Asale, but they never had any elections all their lives. And upon joining them, even though we never joined, for 30 years, we discovered that they were in the dictatorship. They had only one party. And Ambazonians said, no, we're not used to one party system. Let us make this multi-party. That was 1990. In order to make the multi-party thing even established there, Ambazonians had to lose their lives. They killed 500 in Bamenda just for saying that they wanted a multi-party system. That was the first warning sign. And even they forced them to accept multipartyism by name. The SDF went to the parliament and fought and did something. At the very least, they successfully forced them to accept the idea of transparent ballot boxes. That did not change anything in them. You can go and put anything down that transparent box, they see it. When, when they count it, they will change it. And that's why in 1992, after the transparent thing, after Nifrundi and his people did what they did, they thought they could organize good elections. They even had the laws which allowed Nifrundi to win. Those laws perhaps were better than today. They allowed Nifrundi to win. But where is the victory of Nifrundi? They did not respect the results from the ballot box. And so that is not how it was created to look like. Never like that. And so we are not part of that system. The system is bad as our neighbors. If their house is on fire, we have to sympathize with them. But it is better for ambassadors to understand these are some of the two reasons I've just said. And then fast forward in 2016, when this crisis started. But we have been taking part in elections before. We were in parliament, in their parliament Amazonians. And when the crisis started, what happened? All of us remember a certain Wilbur. Wilbur was a parliamentarian. Wilbur had parliamentary protection, immunity. He stood on the floor of parliament and spoke. Just what every parliamentarian is supposed to do in any civilized world. What happened to Wilbur? He has never gone back there. That's the only one I know in my own life, in the whole world. That parliamentarian will start on the floor of parliament, speak something which is supposed to be his or her duty, and then a warrant will be issued for him to be arrested and detained. Since then, Wilbur has escaped. He escaped. He has not come back. Those are the reasons we say we are not part of it. It is whether you have good laws or bad laws, fraud, election fraud, election manipulation is part of your DNA because they have never enjoyed anything called elections. Maybe this time around they will go and fight. So be it. If they fight, we'll tell Ambazonians, be careful. Come back home, we've always told them. And so those are why we say no. 2016 came and passed. 2017 passed. Wilbur fled. Remember they are doing elections now. In 2018 there was elections. This Mr. Paul Biya, which we didn't even take this position we took. The ambassador who took part in the elections. Paul Biya 2018. When this war was already 2 years old. He has been 7 years there. His so-called elected officials, parliamentarians, he himself, his prime minister, they have not extended any idea of electoral process to influence what is going on in the country. Nothing. They have ducked in on their own way. And so we understand, I personally believe Tchiroma could win. That does not mean anything. Paul Biya can be brought back there. That is nothing important to us. Because the reason why we say we are not part of it is that they have never been people who are influenced by elections. They do what they do. They are a dictatorship. That is the facts. That's the chronological facts why we should not be there. People should understand that. Are we legally right to say, no, brothers, sisters of Ambazonia, we are no longer part of it. Don't go there wasting your time. We are legally right. Why? Because all these efforts you took in 1990 under the mistaken belief that we were one country, they did not work. Then we looked back again and said, until 1961, we were having elections in Amazonia. Or I don't know the history of Frontier, Indele, and the rest, and the parties that we had there. We don't know how to, but they got them, and they were satisfied with them. And then came 2017, when we declared our restoration. Our restoration were restored. We are no longer West Cameroon of 1961, October 1st. We are Southern Cameroons. We restored the statehood of Southern Cameroon. And so legally, we're not bound by the electoral code. Legally, we're not bound by the elections. That's the reason why we say, no, we're not part of it. We are good neighbors. We made a mistake to live with you for some time. As good neighbors, if you separate, just iron out the fine prints of the separation. If I owe you a bottle of beer, if we are cable cross over my own house, we settle it. And so it is important for ambassadors to understand why we are not part of it. Whether the system is good or bad, we are not part of it. So let ambassadors have this sink into their heads. They can fight if they so decide. They can give Tchiroma or give it back to their son Paul Biya. If they fight, I've said, their fight must spill over the boundary to us. Ambassadors, be careful with your own lives, because this game over there, as truncated as it is, the signs are there. It might be very, very dangerous. But as neighbors, we pray for you that at least we don't want our neighbor's house on fire. If Tchiroma wins, give it to him. But by your own tradition, you will not give. They will do what they want. They have never denied cheating Nifrundi. They have never. And they said, they didn't just cheat him privately, they cheated him and said, never shall an Anglophone. That in other words, never shall an Amazonian today, or never shall a Southern Cameroonian be in it today. If this is history, it is documented. Why else would we go to vote for? Why? Why must she take the risk? Nifrundi is dead and gone after all that torture. And we heard the society come Nifrundi. How did they do it? They gave him money. They believe that money is the ultimate aim of everything. And I heard yesterday somewhere in some other media, they're distributing money right now to make sure that the election goes their way. No, that is not the Southern Cameroon culture. That is not Ambazonian political culture. Let them get out of it. We are not part of it legally. We are not part of it constitutionally. We are not part of it logically. I think that's what Ambazonians should understand. Over to you, Paddy.
That's an amazing one right there, Barrister Mbeseha. And you've touched on what happened to Weber, which I like to remind Amazonians on of some of the things that Weber said before I come to you, Commander Elvis. So much you have spoken, the legality of our stand, boycotting and encouraging our people to boycott, because we have evil peddlers like Emmanuel Salah trying to think that they could manipulate justice, international justice, against advocates like some of us who think that our people need to be freed from French Cameroon's brutality